Dr. Venkadesan. Thank you.
Thanks, Grazer, for the introduction, and thanks, Anil, for agreeing to let me speak in this occasion. This is meant to be, I'm talking about building team, nurturing talent, and developing leadership in libraries. I meant this to be a more personal journey of how I looked at library. Because nearly 20 years I have been on the other side of receiving information as a research scientist. So I knew what were the pain points. I've seen what ails libraries and where are areas of improvement. And so last 18 years or so, after I moved into the library domain, I have tried to implement everything without the burden or luggage, as they say, of having a formal library background. So I didn't come with those baggages. So I could look at the whole range of services and other things which library does in a completely new light. So when you look at what it takes to run a great library, do you need a crack group of real LIS specialists who can do classification like this, who can do metadata creation? Do we need that? Is that what the crack group is? Or deep pockets like Howard, where you have unlimited resource, you can make all your users happy, you can give everything, whatever you want? Or a wow library space, like a few libraries I have visited, which have a very, very inviting ambience. It's physically a fantastic ambience for people to come in and spend time. Does it make it a great library? Our most erudite leader, probably a PhD in library science and who has done 200 papers to his credit, who is an absolute authority, let's say, on some esoteric topic in library field itself. Would they make a great leader? Or very discerning users? You have to understand your users. Because they also constitute the library ecosystem. If you have a library which has very, very discerning users who come and use library maximally, then probably it's a great library. Because all your return on the investment that you have made in the library gets completely used. So do they contribute to make a great library? So that's a question I have taken myself. And what it takes to answer this question is what we'll see in the 20 minutes. Let me put the time. I shouldn't run away with time after having told everybody else to stick to time. Just give me a second to. Okay. After I moved into ISB, I looked at the entire journey I've made. I looked at what LRC needs, because this is a mandate which is given to me. ISB students who are expected to add value to business, they're all future business leaders. So as soon as they take up the job, they are supposed to be ready for the job, because there are already people with 5 years work experience who come for the MBA degree. So they're going to get back into industry at some middle level. And our faculty have a very large mandate on research. Teaching is only a very small part for them. So I need to support our faculty in their research career. And could be many aspects of any of those management science discipline. And we also have a large number of, you can say, walk-in users who are participating in many of the courses we run. It could be a 3-day program, it could be a 6 weeks program, or it could be 6 months program. We have several short-term programs. So I started rolling out services including to those people, because by some reason or other, they are part of library. So I took them into my leadership. And we do have centers of excellence and institutions which are doing research in high-end areas. Could be like public policy, someone is working on healthcare management, someone is working on supply chain management, and so on. So there are hardcore researchers who are working in these areas, and they also need huge amount of data in time. But to do all these things, I have one constraint, which is an external constraint, it's a budget constraint. Year on year, you're given a budget, and as happens in most Indian institutions, the budget is a diminishing one. Though all factors the budget need to increase because your exchange rate has gone up, and the publishers increase the price at least by a minimum of 10% every year. If you have to even sustain your subscription, you require more money. But we work with not only static budget, slightly diminishing budget year on year. So it becomes a big challenge to do all these things with a diminishing budget. And unless you have a whole team backing you up, you're not able to deliver on any of these things at the time given to you. So we need to continuously innovate, and we need to experiment with new things. Like simple things, we did a complete usage survey and very silently removed some resources which were least used. Just experimenting whether somebody is going to come and ask for that. When I didn't find anybody asking for it in 3 months, I canceled it. And that's how I could conserve some money. So you need to innovate and experiment and keep tracking these things. And you need to keep building network with, because even yesterday it happened, someone wanted a Elsevier article in a healthcare journal, bioscience journal. I don't have a subscription to that. So I need to depend on my network of people to satisfy the research requirement of my scientists. So year on year, we do have a strategic plan. Current strategic plan says 10% cut year on year. So I need to plan for what I'm going to do. And this money I'm plowing back into new research resources for our faculty. But in all this, we also want to improve the standards and what we do. So we constantly benchmark. In all my travels, any library I visit, I go spend time with those people, find out what innovative service they are doing or what innovative functionality they have. Spend enough time, learn from them. And it could be any library. Every library surely has one ultimate selling point for that library. I think if you can identify that and learn from them, it's the best that you can use for your library. And whenever someone comes and asks for something, and we need to really, we are the last fellows to say no. When someone asks for it, we don't say no. We say, okay, I give an example. Someone asked at 11 in the night, one of the faculty asked for a title of a book. He said, do we have this book? Our guy is an amazing guy. He sent back an email saying that I have all the other books on the same title. I don't have the book, but I'll get it to you next week. But these books in the meantime you can read. If you want, I can bring it to your chamber. So that's the kind of email which goes. So before you say no, if you learn how to satisfy your customer, because that faculty was immensely grateful because he didn't bother about the book not being available. Because someone gave him an alternate. So instead of saying no, try to find a positive alternate what he can give. So we have a team. We want to innovate and we want to adapt to the external constraints which are there, and I can't work on it alone. Need a team. Only team will win. Because hierarchical kind of structure in library for such libraries will not work. Because you need to take ideas from anyone and everyone who can give it, who is part of your team. Though you may have legally certain requirement that only you or someone can sign those contracts and so on. That's a clerical part, I would say. But as far as the decision making is concerned, in case what resources to retain, what resources to cut, or what resources to add, you have to have a collective decision. You have to have a decision by the team. Because these are the guys who are going to face your customer. You are sitting in your chamber, they face the customer day in and day out. So they need to have the logic why such a thing has been done. Let's say you decide to cut one complete publisher 1 year due to for budget constraint. Unless you explain your logic why you have done that, he's going to do the fighting and he's helpless. He's bereft of information. So everyone must be a part of the team in your library. They need to know what they do. They're part of they're a small cog in the big wheel. They need to know their part. And they should also know why they're doing that, the logic behind it. It's not a command given to him and he executes it. He knows why the library adopted this strategy. And the process. So process, we have gone through complete codification of the processes. And it's evolving. It's not written in stone, but we have a standard process. So X or Y takes that position, let's say ordering journals. He comes in, he has a manual in front of him. He can go through and he can do the same process. So the process remains more or less invariant depending on, irrespective of the person who does it. I think that's very, very important in a library to have repeatability of the process. It doesn't vary with person who is doing that. So I think some kind of standardization became necessary. Team which is really winning are conscious about the fact that they are all contributing and they're proud of that. So nobody shies away and thinks that he's not part of the system, because they know that certainly sum is more than just a numerical addition of all the parts. And the teams also have a built-in, because we do have conflicts, clashes. But you need to inherently have some strength in you to manage these clashes. Sometimes it could be an idea which you are debating with your colleagues. You're saying you want to do it one way. They say maybe there are problems. They're just opposing your views. But you allow certain strength in yourself to allow this debate to take place. And then you reach an equilibrium, which is a good state because it's a cool, calm and state of mind. Everybody is happy in the sense nobody feels like a loser because you have lost in that argument. So you develop trust among your colleagues. You trust their judgment, you trust their things. You debate everything out. And this trust leads to very open sharing of knowledge. Because he knows that when I'm away, this guy is going to take care of my job. So I will trust with him all my skills I will impart to him. So in one sense, what we have done is also gone to what they call as a matrix method of management. So I have one colleague who is, let's say, looking after a journal. His is 60%, 70% responsibility is to do journal ordering, but 30% he does, let's say, research services. Same way, there is another guy who will do 70% research services, but 30% he will be doing journal ordering or something else. So there is a matrix, so nobody is indispensable that way. He falls sick, goes away, or he changes job. I have still someone who can run the services, maybe with a little less efficiency, but still it can run. It doesn't come to a grinding halt. I think there it's important that these colleagues, they make their own pair and they form a very trusted relationship. They tell each other about how they function in that area, so that knowledge transfer is very, very smooth. And we are particular about this, our team members working as a team, as a group. So formally we have an outing twice a year, and whole day we close library and just only the skeletal services are running. The whole team goes away, spends the whole day playing games, running around, having enough fun. And that's very important because that fun brings you together as human beings. So tomorrow, even an intern who has joined, he had been playing probably with me in that game, probably in the swimming pool. So he can walk into my room and tell me very frankly what he wants to do. So there is an ice broken. There is a good relationship built between people by this kind of socializing. We don't necessarily do only official socializing. We also do offline socializing. The one you see here is somebody's home. This is my home. So we call them also casually sometime. Okay, we feel like just come along. Whoever is available on that day, they just come, spend some time. That way, I think good bonhomie is built between the team, and the trust becomes much more entrenched. Because we understand the right information to the right person at the right time is our credo for the right decision making. How do we give that? Because time is precious for the client. We work up from morning 8 to morning 2 every day, 361 day a year. And on a certain exam time, we are open even up to 4 o'clock. And there is a person in the counter sitting there who is willing to answer query, email, phone calls. So we know that time is precious because we run a 1-year MBA program and it's on a tight list. The students don't have too much time. So if you want something, that needs to be given at the earliest. If you don't serve at the right time, the service has no value. This we have seen in the old book days. Someone comes and recommends a fantastic book to you, and you get the book to him through your routine process in 6 months' time. He has lost interest in the book. He doesn't even come to library to pick up the book. So unless you do things in time, it's not going to matter to him. So what do we do and why we do it? it has to be understood by everyone. And we also build the skill redundancy. This is what I said by doing a matrix thing. So we have multiple people having a similar skill. So I could always call on someone else, or when the load increases, I have more people doing the same job. Like sometimes we buy books in large bulk, and if you have to catalog them and put them into service, everyone is doing that. Actually, irrespective of what department he deals with, everyone is doing that so that the books go into circulation. And try to be proactive. The example I gave of this is not available, but this is available. So try to outguess the person. In fact, it's the most important thing is to give a pleasant experience to the user. When you go and engage with them, it gives them a very, very pleasant experience. When a student walks and he looks lost, looking for a book in a shelf, someone walks up to him and said, "Are you looking for something? Can I help you?" So someone goes and asks him, I think it makes a great experience for him. A flat hierarchy is a very important. I have a very few approvals which are set in the process in decision making. A query comes in, it comes not to a named person, it comes to team LRC. One person in the team, it could be an intern who joined about a month back, or it could be a senior library person. He says, okay, I'm answering this question. So others keep off, and he goes about answering the question. In the very initial period when an intern comes, he is still learning the rope. So he gets his response vetted by a senior. Once he becomes a master after a few months, he can take the query, he can answer the way he wants. You can see the email chain in this example given where an intern just answered the query, which is a research query which is required by one of the users. We also own mistakes. We do mistakes, we own mistakes, but mistakes are owned collectively. Because in fact, it would be even better if the leadership owns up the mistake. Instead of pointing the fingers at the guy who has done it, he hasn't done it intentionally. He has done it by ignorance or something here, some procedural lapse which has happened. We don't cover up the mistake. We discuss openly, collectively, and say, okay, this is what has happened. We don't do it anymore. Okay, let's move on with that. But this kind of good work, teamwork, has one appreciation for us from the whole school and from the faculty who visit and people who come for even a short-term program. So it really commands respect among the entire community, let it be faculty, the management, or anyone. We hold the unbeaten record of best service provider, a score of somewhere close to 6.4 out of 7 over the last 14 years. It's a non-stop record, and we have been bettering it probably 0.1 here and there. Year on year, we have been doing it, and this is in spite of the budget cuts, I said. Still, if you can give a wow experience, it's thanks to my team. So, to make a team, it's not just a team, it's a team of talented individuals. That's more important. We can have a deep pocket, then I can go in the market and find the best guy in library and hire him. Probably as a deputy librarian or something. But that's not going to solve my problem. I don't have a deep pocket. So I have only kind of reasonable talents, whom I can pick from the fresher from the MLIS programs, and groom them to become best librarians. I need to invest time in training them and so on. And probably they make a much better librarian. Because we have a shortage of skilled library professionals. Library as a profession, if you go to library school, that's the last option. He doesn't get a degree, or he hasn't found a job. So someone says, take library course, kuch to ho jayega. So you'll get some job. So they go. So you're not attracting the best brains into this profession. So you have moderately people who are coming to the profession, but make best use of them. Take them and groom them and teach them how to do that profession in the best way. So we need programs which will attract people into library services. If let's say intern program which Anil runs or some of these IIMs and IITs run, if they are really good, maybe people take library as a positively opt for it, in the sense they think it's a good thing, good profession to get into, because they are going to do things. So internship program need to get much larger audience and people need to know about it, particularly the library schools need to know about it. And they can be pick and choosy. They can find out which is the best one. They can benchmark and send all their graduates to those places to train them for the future career. Our internship program, we have currently 21 interns in 2 campuses. We don't give lectures, they learn by doing. Most of the library activity is doing, so they learn by doing with a mentor. And the day they join, they are considered employees of ISB. Though they are interns on a fixed time employment, they are considered a full-time employee of the ISB. They take part in all the programs. The picture you see here is the latest ISB day function. I think 80% of this crowd is library interns. So they are intensely participating in all the school activities. They feel they are a part of the school. So I think that culture and ethos has to come in. You are a part of the system, not a paid employee of that. I think that's important. These kind of inclusions make them feel a part of the system. And they're oriented in all aspects of library. Nothing is beyond them. It's not they're only sitting in the counter and doing check-in and check-out. They get to learn how the books are ordered, how databases are ordered, how usage is analyzed, everything they need to know, how research service is done. So they become part of the development of the entire ecosystem itself. By the way, the picture, what is shown is our LRC at Hyderabad. But the talents fly away. But I believe in the words of Cheryl Kenyon, who said, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it will always be yours. If it never returns, it was never yours to start with. I believe in that. So whenever someone wants to leave, like my good colleague Ramesh, who is sitting here, who left us and he joined ICRISAT, and there are many. And I encourage them to go because their heart is into something else. And they should follow their heart, what it says. So our alumni are willing to share knowledge. One of the guys is working in InflibNet. He is an IT-based professional who is working with us, and he is still solving problem for me through email. My guys are in touch with him, and he says, okay, this is a solution I have employed now in InflibNet, you can try it. So that way, I think you maintain a good relation. Even when somebody leaves, you have friends in multiple institutions. Like Prakash Sivaswamy, he is an alumni from ISB internship. So I have a inside man in IIM, I would say. So that way we have our ambassadors in many, many institutions who can help us. Okay, now I just want to go to one last topic. There have been a lot of leadership initiative in the West. Library leadership I'm talking about. So ALA and many have been conducting workshop and training sessions for that. But we haven't had really much. So we thought that we should try something. So we tied up with the Frost & Sullivan. They have a leadership program with them. We brought them to ISB. They ran a course for all my colleagues. All my colleagues, so as potential leaders in the library field. So it's general leadership development. So they need empowered. They know how to negotiate. They know how to resolve conflicts. They know how to face interviews. They learn many of those things during this workshop. So they also feel empowered. They know how they can do it in the future. This is something which I want to propose in this forum. Can we all, as a business school library people, develop a leadership institute or a leadership program which can be run from any of the institute, where all other libraries can send in candidates who want to go through that 1-day, 2-day workshop in leadership. I'm not talking about leadership in Koha or leadership in automated library and all that. I'm talking about all the soft skills which are required to make library leaders. So can we have the program? And can we have an internship program among libraries? I can send my staff to your library to come and spend 1 week and learn about what best thing you're doing. And let's have an arrangement. Each library will take, let's say, 3 interns a year. Let's sign an MOU, and I can send, you can send people to me. That way, we really share our knowledge and soft skill. And people also learn about how different systems work. So internship to leadership, because we didn't somehow, I stopped doing any lateral entry. We have leaders growing from the institution, not coming from injected into the system. Everybody gets a chance in the 3 years, 2 years to demonstrate their skills. And who are really talented, we pick them up. They are the top player. We pick them up and give them a permanent position. Those who get an opportunity, they continue with us and play mentoring role to the newcomers. We try all possible way to stay relevant and add value by these kind of methods. And the team is really a passionate team. So I stop my formal lecture here. I want to take a break. I want to do something different. I want to interact with you. Instead of you asking me a question, I want to ask a question. I want your response. Whoever wants to answer this, please raise your hand. I'll give you an opportunity. Can you name a person who has had a tremendous impact on you as a leader? He could be from any walk of life. And why and how did this person affect you? What quality in that leader attracted you and made him your hero? Dr. Vij, please give him a mic. Yeah.
See, I'll say a lot of persons, but if you ask me one, I'll say my ex-director of INMAS, Institute of Nuclear Medicine. Let's say basically I'm working with DRDO. DRDO means rocket missiles, bombs, and other things. I am a librarian there. I was working in the library. He trusted me. He gave me charge of HRD. See, trust comes from both the sides. I can trust you, but unless until you trust me equally, things will not move.
What was his name?
Dr. R.P. Tripathi. He just retired around 2 months ago. You met him.
Right. So, Dr. R.P. Tripathi and the value he got from him is a trust. I think a leader who trusts probably is a very important quality that you have brought up. Thanks, Vij, for that. And I would like to show my appreciation through a gift. Can we have a gift, please? Okay. Is there anyone else who wants? Okay. No, okay. Let me be fair. I don't want to stop with question 1. So I'll take 2, at best 3. Okay, I'll take someone. Wait a minute. Take a mic and please say that in the mic.
Sir, I want to know your any direct involvement with any association in India.
Thank you.
Sir, I want to know your association with any Indian association, library association.
No, probably I want an answer to the question. You're asking a question.
I want to know your association, your collaboration.
No, but that doesn't answer this question I have on the board. I have a question on the board. I want people.
I was outside that, so I
Okay,
thought.
right. Yeah. I want people to answer this question. Now, please tell your name and.
I'm Sukeshni and working with Tata Consultancy Services based at Bangalore. And one of the persons who had tremendous impact as a leader in my professional career is just sitting beside me, Dr. Dhanashree Date. She is a typical leader or a person with whom you love to work with. She does not have that attitude of being a boss in any organization. She is one leader which you would love to look up to. She motivates the whole team, and as you mentioned, she owns the mistakes. Being a team like this, and we are majorly involved into research, we commit a lot of mistakes, and that is how we learn. It's always she.
Thank you,
who
and
makes
thanks
it
to the
out
boss as well. And it's a good quality. Can we have the gift, please? And this is a gift coming all the way with love from Hyderabad.
You want a gift? Probably you deserve it.
Yeah, I have my friend Girish.
Shall I?
Yeah.
Okay. It's about a friend of mine who is no more. I think most of people sitting here perhaps would know him, Mr. Satish Deshpande, who was heading the British Library here in Ahmedabad. You know, I worked with him for more than 20 years. The main thing that I learned from him, right throughout my career with him, was, the environment wherever he was, it was a happy environment. Okay. He always used to talk about finishing touches. Finishing touches with what? Finishing touches with anything he sees around. He sees with the work. If it has got any problem, he wants to give it a finishing touch. Finishing touch in the sense that he wants to go through the improvement process if a particular process has got any problem, whether it is IT, whether it is something to do with teamwork, whether it is something to do with collection development, whether it is to do with anything that for that matter, okay. He was an excellent and very, very innovative and creative person, okay. Looking at him, one could learn so many things in their lives, and he was just a happy person, and he made others also extremely happy. So he will remain as my leader throughout my rest of the life.
Thanks. Either you won yourself a nice box of cookies. Chris. I know you're after cookies.
I'm hoping they're chocolates for my husband.
Yeah.
So mine is a slightly different take. The person who I think has had the most impact on me, maybe not in leadership, was the woman who I had to report to, a very senior woman at the University of Melbourne, in my first professional capacity. And there were 6 of us who reported to her, and she was an absolute and total dragon, a real dragon, in the sense that she was so fastidious. She has such a high level of excellence we all had to achieve. And if we ever went to her, as we did all the time, to say, excuse me, miss, and I won't give you her name, miss, but there is a gentleman who wants to borrow a book from the special collections, which was her baby, she would look at you in the face and say, who is the gentleman? Why is he here? Which edition of the book? For what purpose does he wish to use it? When does he wish to use it? How long does he wish to use it for? We would say, oh, I'm sorry, miss, and we would go trot out like poor little ponies and get all the answers to all those questions from the inquirer, and then we would go back to her and say, excuse me, please, but this is this, and then she would look at us and she would say, and how do we know his credentials are correct? And then we'd go back out and trot things. And after a year of doing this, the 6 of us concluded that that was the best training we had ever been given. She didn't mollycoddle us. She didn't ever let us be anything but absolutely perfect in all the information. And what she taught each of us was we all went on to do other jobs, and years later we were able to say that what she taught us was to be always fully informed before making any decisions. Always arm yourself with the fullest information possible so that you're in a position of strength when you make your decisions. And that was the best lesson the best gift she could have given any of us, even if she was a dragon.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris. And you win yourself. Okay, now I go to the next question. Where do the smart ideas come from in your libraries? Who gives them? Is it you, the boss of the library? Now I just take one answer to this. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Mrs. Ashwini Sarpotdar. I am from Pune, working in high school, Dr. Kalmadi Shamrao High School. The smart ideas, I believe it's your originality and your creativity. And I do benefit from attending such seminars and conferences, but in my school library, I conduct various activities with my students, and that's how I believe it should come from your within.
Within?
Yes.
Okay, smart ideas come from within. Is there anyone who differs from this and wants to say something else? Okay, Sheikh. Give it.
Smart ideas can come from many places, from within and from without. No? Yeah. Because an idea is not coming as such an idea, it bubbles up and you find that there is some merit to that particular point and then you consider it as an idea. So ideas are in different degrees of, existence, and once you feel it's a good idea, you accept it, and maybe before accepting, you will also discuss with your colleagues whether it is having the merit to be accepted. So I feel ideas are coming
Thanks,
from
Sri.
multiple
And
sources.
that's a good answer which covers her point of view as well. It could come from within, it could come from. Okay, I go back. Okay, let this question be there. Okay.
No, I had the question, answer to that question.
Yeah, you can still answer the smart. Mike, please. Yeah.
See, I get smart, right? I'm Swati Bhattacharya, librarian, Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. In my library, I get smart ideas, smartest ideas from some of my junior colleagues, because we also have, like your interns, we have a different category, and I just let them allow to work on any front. And any complications, they actually watch for, they work with my eyes as my ears, and then they come back. So there's likely to be a problem there. Can we manage it in that way? You go ahead, do that.
Can we have a round of claps for Swati?
I just want to tell you, very recently, we have finished our RFID project. 160,000 books. We did all through help of those boys and girls. And lot of process flow, because we are an old library, old books, they are always watchful. Madam, these books should not be done, these have torn pages. So immediately we started doing a workflow, how to segregate old books. What is the workflow? Send it to binding. They themselves were doing, and they were just, kind of lifeful activity that went on for 2 years in my library.
Thank you, Swati. So now the next question is, leadership quality different for libraries as compared to any other browser? If it is so, what do you think is so special about library?
I think
Leadership.
one of the major tasks is negotiation and open mind for library, because we should accept all comments from the user as well as the management from all. So one of the best quality for leadership quality required for library is open mind and accept the comments from the users and all.
Thank you, Radha. Open mind and willingness to accept any comment. And I have a few more questions.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. Only one cookie box per person.
Indian situation.
Yeah.
I should say libraries are a different kind of organization than other business. Indian situation, you work with a very trained professional and probably a 7th or 8th grade, attendant, and all are equally important. So, handling this wide array of people, you have to be very sensitive. So that leadership also has to be very sensitive when you are talking someone who is doing the gatekeeping or doing just pasting labels, to understand their problem, their viewpoints also.
I think sensitivity is a very important.
I'll add one line. We are organizing monthly lunch in the library. So junior person, 2 or 3 person will share and contribute. I will give 2 lunches in rotation wise. That we are doing.
Okay.
Hello everyone.
Oh, okay.
I'm a bit contradictory on this point. I think leader is a leader, no matter in which field he is leading. Because in whatever field a leader is, he has to think for the whole community, for the whole society. As librarians also think about the whole community group to whom they are serving. So I think leader is a leader, no matter he is a librarian or in any other field. So if you are a leader in any of the field, you will ever shine, no matters you are a librarian or in any other field.
There is a very contrary point she has taken. I just want to poll this point of view. How many of you think leaders, irrespective of which profession they come in, are same as library? Yeah, all those who agree, please. I'm counting actually. Somebody is counting in the back. My colleagues are counting. Okay? And how many think the library leaders are special, they have a different quality then? So the balance of it.
I am there in both.
Okay.
Let me share something.
Okay.
Leader. Who is special?
I would like to share something.
No, 1 minute. I think she has a majority of people support
Yeah.
her thing, saying that leader is a leader irrespective of where you are.
Sir,
Please. Thank you so much.
I would like to share something here, sir.
Yeah.
As I am Darshana Chauhan, I am working with Gujarat Technological University, and I am handling their e-library, remote access and portals and purchasing and publishers.
On this question or?
Yeah. So I am thinking that the library leaders should have the different quality, because earlier I was working at Pune and I was working with as a training and placement officer, and I have shifted to Gujarat, Ahmedabad, and all of a sudden I have joined this GTU and I have got this portfolio e-library and rest others. And when I had done my MBA HR, but when I saw this library, we really need to have the different aspects to dig it out, to develop it, to purchase it, to negotiate it, to understand it, and to finalize it and put it in the portals, the right people. So I feel this is altogether the different quality we should have and we should possess it. So I have learned it since last 1.5 years.
Yeah, I think that
So
there's a little, I feel there's a little confusion between skills required for a library professional and qualities you require in a library leader.
Yeah.
Because what you listed, most of them are skills rather than qualities. Qualities of a manager, I think empathy, many such things are real qualities.
Yeah.
Whereas much of what you listed happen to be skills which can be picked up anyone if they work on it.
Yeah. Thank you.
All the same.
Sir, I would like to compliment someone.
Yeah.
Here, I would like to add up that I am Mamta Rajkumar. I have come from the remote corner of India, from the northeast,
Yes.
Imphal. And here I want to supplement something that as a librarian, we need a human touch and the service. That is very
halfway.
important. And let me tell a very small story. In my library, it's a very small library, but the research persons were coming. So one fellow was there. Now he has become the regional director of IGNOU. So he was doing his research about 4 years back. And he was at such a crossroad that he couldn't get into anything. He was in big problem. So a little bit of pushing and pulling from my side. Like, I had acquired a small corner for him. I told him that his name was Dylan. I said, Dylan, you come sit here. And the moment he was about to come, I keep all the books which he required in front of him, So then sometimes, afterwards, after reading it, he asked me that, can you do me a favor? I said, yes, what is it, That I have written something, but I need someone outsider to see my papers and see the loopholes. So I give that extra time to read his papers and help him out. So he got his research done in, completed in 6 months' time, and now he's the regional director. So being a librarian, we need some extra step, extra step.
Thank you, Mamta. Thanks for telling this. And good, Sakib. I think before I get voted out, I'll close the session because I think maybe we will pick up all this one-on-one during the tea break. They want the cookies to be...
Okay, free cookies.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Venkadesan, for this lovely interactive session. Not only you gave us so many innovative examples of how to build a team and flexible ways of working, and how you can really gel well with your team members and become an effective leader. And we will find leaders in ourselves, you will find leaders in your juniors, you will find leaders in many different people, the qualities of leaders. The only thing is we need to learn to nurture them, that's all. Okay, so just to express our appreciation, I request Dr. Anil to present a memento to Dr. Thank you very much.
So maybe one memento to Girish as the chairperson.